Hey everyone, it's Sam. Today we're going to be talking about setting up Tailscale with Kamal. Tailscale is a way to set up a virtual mesh network where from your own local computer you can attach yourself to the network that your servers are using. This gives you a lot of flexibility about security and access control, as well as allowing you to do cool things like set up an internal Docker registry for Kamal, um, and just make sure that you have access from anywhere in the world without having to update your firewall settings, which I think is really nice. Today I'm in a bit of a share lounge situation, but soon I'll have a permanent place to be making these videos, and I think that'll be great. Anyway, let's dive into setting this up and see how it goes. Okay, so let's dive in. So what is Tailscale? Well, Tailscale, you can check out their marketing materials here, but Tailscale basically allows you to run a um, secure private network using WireGuard. It's using the VPN technology WireGuard, which you might be familiar with. But anyway, it allows you and everyone at your company to join an internal network together that can't be accessed from anywhere in the outside world. It also has a really great um, system for setting up ACLs, so access controls. So certain people can access certain servers, or certain people can access certain internal services. If you self-host a lot of applications, there's a possibility that you have internal applications that you don't want maybe salespeople to be able to access, like the secrets for your production environment, something like that. And so that's really easy to set up with Tailscale. Additionally, it lets you manage remote access to servers. So it has an SSH functionality where it wraps actual SSH and allows you to use its DNS service to SSH into um, your servers from anywhere in the world. And also it allows you to manage who has access and who doesn't have access, and also turn off SSH from everyone else. So that makes it really secure. So you can see all the audit logging about who accesses your servers, which users access them at what time, and there's even more things that you can add on top of there, which I'm not going to get into right now, but you can check out their marketing materials and you can see exactly what they use. This isn't like a sponsored post or anything. I just really like Tailscale. I think it's a really great product. So what do we want to do? Well, what we want to do is run the Tailscale client on all of our servers, and then at that point, we can access them from anywhere in the world, and then we can also use DNS to give them like nice names, and we can update our Kamal deploy to use that names because Kamal just uses SSH, and we're using Tailscale with SSH, and then that's all you need to know. So let's check out how you would install it onto a server. I created this really simple script, install Tailscale, which just goes over the very basic, make this font a little bigger here, goes over the very basic way of setting all this up. So essentially, as you maybe remember from previous videos, we were SSHing to a jump box, and then that box, from there, we were going around to the different servers um, to install everything. Well, if we have Tailscale, we don't need the jump box actually, because everything is going to be on its own virtual private network that we can all have access to and lock down however we want. So what we need to do is just install the Tailscale client, and the way that we do that is, if you have it set up already with the jump box, then what you want to do is replace uh, this here with the jump box address, and then we're adding in this host file, and this is going to give us the host that we want to install onto, and then it's going to run the install bash script there, and then all we need to do to get it up and running is so easy, is just say up with SSH. We use an auth key, which I'll show you how to create in a second. We know that this is just a little thing to make it so it doesn't, so we know that we're going to lose SSH once we run this. That means because we're running Tailscale through, since we're running SSH through Tailscale, that means that our normal SSH connections won't be working anymore to protect us. And then this advertised tag server. So what are tags? Well, tags allow you to create access control items for specific things. So we could tag like servers, iPhones, things like that to know how we're sort of manipulating them, and we'll see that in a second. And this is all you need to do to get it running up and running on your servers. So you just run this command with the host, it'll install it, and then we can show how it shows up in the UI. So I'll show you that in a second. This is how you're going to install on the server, but obviously you need it on your laptop here because you want your laptop to be your laptop is connecting to Tailscale, to your Tailscale network, and then that's all going to be, and your servers are going to attach there as well. So as you can see here, I have it set up on my Mac. There's a Mac application. We just go to the downloads here. So you can see, like, from the downloads, you download the Mac app, and then you'll log in from GitHub or whatever you use, and then it shows that I have this network that I created, the Devs Coach Network, and it's going to show me these devices that I have, and we can check out what that sort of looks like from the home screen. So I have this Devs Coach. I'm using GitHub, so my Devs Coach GitHub account, and anyone that joins that organization, actually, you can set it up so that they automatically have like a certain tag, or they're like a certain user in your system. So if you onboard new developers and you add them to Tailscale, then all they need to do is log in with their GitHub account, and then everything's ready for them to SSH or use the Git account if you are like have your own Git hosted, something like that. So then, as you can see, once you run this command, then your host machines are going to pop up here. And so, just make this bigger in case you can't see it. But basically, we have a machine, and it's going to, by default, has the host name of, it has the name using the OS host name. You can edit this. And then it gives you various addresses that you can connect to it from on the network, because this is all the network that we're using together. And so you can use simple host registry itself. And for example, like let's say I want to just SSH into this and simple host registry. Root at simple host registry. And you can see now that we're running on the Hetzner server that I have set up. So it really makes it easy to then SSH into different boxes via just using the Tailscale application that you already have set up on your Mac, and there's no other configuration there that you need to do. So that's running there, and as you can see, it has this tag server. The tag server is the one that we created here. The names aren't really important, but what is important is you have to set it up in the ACLs. So let's look at the ACLs for now. So we'll go to access control. Access control here is just this JSON file that you can use to edit how people can access different servers and different functionality. It allows you to do a lot of different things, but for now, let's say we just want to open up a new tag. So the tag here that we created is tag server, which gives us this auto group admin. Auto groups are something that are created by Tailscale itself. So anyone that has the admin role in Tailscale will be added to this auto group admin. You can create your own groups up here, for example, like this example group using their email addresses or GitHub accounts. And then that lets you sort of divide things up. So say you have ops people or you have devs, then you want maybe the devs to be able to access, or the ops to be able to access the servers, and the devs to only be able to access one of the servers, or something like that, to run read-only queries. So that's really useful, I think. And so we have the tags. So we have this tag owners. That autogroup admin means they own the tag server. And only admins can then add this tag to servers. So you could have, like, for example, you could have an ops group, and then you could have the ops group be in charge of the tag server. And then you could also then do that with SSH to make sure that the source is, instead of autogroup member means any member of the organization, you could do something like group ops. And then if you wanted to have group ops, you would just go up here and define that right here. And then you could just say, sam@devscoach.com. I'm the ops person, and then, save all that stuff. I'm not going to do that right now because I like having the auto stuff, the auto group right now because it's just me. And so before when you set this up for the first time, it has something like this: auto group self. That means that people can only SSH onto their own server, which that's just a security measure so that, like, it's not letting people automatically SSH into any server that they want. But what I want to do is to allow members to SSH into servers. So that's all you have to do is just update this from source destination to autogroup member to destination server. And then the users that we want is root, because root is the user that I run everything on for Hetzner. And obviously, if that's not what you're doing, then you can change that, and then you can just save this. I haven't changed anything, but that's how that's going to work for you. So that's all the ACLs. So that's all you need to know about the ACLs. So we can check back on these machines. We can see that this SSH host and these two hosts have the tag server, and the SSH is set up, which means everything's running correctly, and they're connected, which is great. So now, what's even better about this is now we have these DNS, right? So we have simple host web. So we can take this simple host web, and this is where, like, it comes in to be useful for Kamal. Let's look at the deploy here. So now, instead of the SSH proxy here used to be like a IP address, which I find to be sort of not helpful and sort of opaque. And down the road, I think it will cause some sort of ops debt, tech debt, but for ops, where you're tying everything to the specific IP address. But now what you're doing is you're tying everything to a host name, which is very easily changed. And now, once I install this on every one of my servers, I actually don't even need this. So what I can do here is, instead of using the host as 10.10.02, which I was doing, I can do simple host web. I can get rid of this, and I can change all this stuff to simple host web, and then that's going to work on the Kamal side. So let me just show you. So let's say, like, for example, I want this to work on PG16, and I want to install this on 10.0.0.3. So let's go here. So let's go back to this, and then let's go to simple host, and we'll just do this install Tailscale on 10.0.0.3, which again is jumping to the original host file, running this Tailscale command, and then installing Tailscale and then running it, which is great. But I'm not going to show you the end of this because it has my auth key, which is the last piece of this bit that we need to look at. So what is the auth key? Well, it's usually when you set up Tailscale, it'll have you go through an OAuth where you click on a link, and then you go through the sort of normal process of like signing in with Google, for example. But when we're deploying on the servers, we don't want that because we don't actually want the server to be tied to a user. We want the server to be tied to just a specific key. So we use what's called auth keys, Tailscale auth key. I have this in my environment right now, but you could put it anywhere you want, 1Password, for example. And how do we create those? Well, I can go to, it's right here, under settings, I guess. And I have this key here that's expires on July 1st. So the thing is, they last for 90 days. So that's going to give you 3 months. And all you really need to do to update the key is then just generate a new key, run this again, and then it'll re-auth. That's pretty easy. Just keep a list of your hosts and then just run this command once again every 90 days. And that'll keep you secure and up and running. And since auth keys can join, can be used to join your private network, it's very important that you rotate them. So it's good that it forces you to do that every 90 days. And it's not difficult at all because all you need to do is just update the key and then rerun it again. And then all your servers will join the network. For individual users and things like that, you don't need to do that because you can just relog in via OAuth, for example. So that's all you need to know to get Kamal and Tailscale running. That just wanted to show a little quick tutorial about how that works because I think it's really useful and it provides a lot of features more than just what we saw today. But even with what we saw today, it really gives you a lot of flexibility in terms of managing who has access to which servers at your company, as well as people's devices and things of that nature. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks.